Hello and welcome to another episode of Generally Speaking. I'm your host, Bill Lawrence. Today is Sunday, October 5th. October 5th, 2025. Please hit the like, subscribe, and notify bell. Well, 5 days into October, and I haven't paid my bills that come due the first week. I got to do that. I have to buy another water filter for my fridge. I keep putting that off. I've got to do that. Yesterday, I had a wonderful day at a Renaissance fair. We've got them over here in Concord, North Carolina. See the people running around in all these crazy outfits. Amazing how these outfits are elaborate. I wonder where they get these outfits from. Well, there you go. Some little personal side. So, what's going on? What are the things? Things pretty much the same as always, but always a little bit different. Same but different. They say history repeats itself, but that's like a circle. You think a circle goes round, but the real way it should be described is more like a spiral. It sort of repeats itself, but also sort of not, because things are a little bit different than the way they were. Like, for instance, our current administration going down the Nazi path, the Hitler path, the fascist path. It's got the similarities to what happened in Germany, but there are differences in that we've already seen what could happen, as did happen in Germany. So we've got a little forewarning and a little bit more, perhaps, muscle or something to stop it. Because, and I just hope something will stop it. What evidences are there? Let's see. We got the military, which is now being attacked by the administration, or like sucked in, to do whatever the administration wants. They're putting them out in all these different cities and running roughshod over everything. But we've got the courts that some federal judges have already said that you can't do that. You can't send the troops out there. And now we're just waiting to see, all right, are they going to be taken out? There was a judge in California who said you can't, that sending the troops out there was illegal, but they can stay. Make sense of that. It's illegal to have the troops there, but they can stay. Ugh. Any rate, so he sent troops into, well, he was going to send troops in Chicago. Apparently that didn't happen, except that it kind of did, because I see things about them running around. Maybe it's just the ICE agents, and the ICE agents aren't actually the troops, right? Okay, so then we got Portland, Oregon, where there was totally nothing going on. And he was talking about we have to send the troops there because of this war ravaged. I mean, well, there was nothing going on. And there was something I was reading, Trump saying, what? It's not war ravaged? Am I being told the wrong thing? And I'm wondering, is he being told the wrong thing? As opposed to, "Oh, I'm just going to, throw a dart at a board and figure out what city's going to be next and go there." And I'm going to choose Portland, where there was absolutely nothing going on. Absolutely nothing. You can talk about protecting the government facilities, the ICE agency. They've only got one building there, one small little building that no one even walks by. It's like deserted. And he's going to send the troops out there. So, at any rate, a federal judge told him, again, this is a different judge, says you can't send the troops there, it's illegal. And he didn't draw any line like saying, but you can keep them. Right? He says, his words were, your justification is totally untethered from reality. Untethered, that there was so much nothing of what he was trying to say that the troops can't be there. And so now that was just recently. And so let's see, well, are the troops going to be removed? So we'll see how that goes. So the administration is purchasing software to access your phone and your Facebook and your Reddit. I mean, this has already been known for a long time. I go back to Edward Snowden, who blew the whistle on how much the National Security Administration is listening in to all of our phone calls and keeping records of what we say and do. And then all the stories about how a person's whole life and what they're doing can be accessed from their phone with their Google accounts. And you pull all the information together, and you can get, like, what you had for breakfast and whether you were sleepy in the morning or not. And yeah, that was a long time ago. Things have improved then in terms of the spying capability. and now they're all over the place. We've got software now that will go onto your phone without your knowing it, and it will tell everything to the authorities of what you've been doing, and it even gets around those encrypted apps that encrypt it, from when you send it to where they get it, so no one in the middle can get it. Oh, these things are on your phone, and they'll get it before it gets encrypted, and then they'll send it. And the administration's buying some more of this spyware. Everything is our privacy just doesn't exist. The word privacy doesn't exist at all anymore. I guess it'll be like one of those antiquated terms. It'll be in the dictionary, where they list a word and they say antiquated, not used anymore, or used by to fool people. It'll be like that. All right, what we got? Mike Johnson in the house, the head of the house. He's shutting down the house. He say, "Let's go on vacation. Let's give you all a vacation," because a recently elected Democrat is going to come in, and she said she's going to vote for the resolution to deliver the Epstein files. What is it called? A discharge petition. The Senate is just full. The House, the Senate, Congress. They've got a lot of rules. I mean, you learn in school about, the way it works is someone proposes a bill, the House talks about it, and then the Senate does their version. They meet with each other to iron out the differences. You have a bill. It's as simple as that. That's all there is to it. No, there is a myriad, amazing amount of rules and regulations in the House and the Senate that I'll bet it would be fascinating to read about. I might one of these days. Every now and then I read a book. I like reading books. I've read some fascinating books, and I've seen some recently that I've tagged. I might read them. So, but Mike Johnson wants to shut down the House so that this woman can't be seated, as they say. She can't be, officially signed in. I wonder how long they're going to try to put that off. Just no, no, no more Congress, no more Congress. He already said it's for a week. It's going to be a week now. What's going to happen when the week's up? All right, what else? Trump's spiritual advisor. I got to tell you, the first time I heard of a spiritual advisor, back in Obama days, I thought, what is going on? I thought we had separation of church and state, and there's some arguments about that. It wasn't officially a separation of church and state. There was an idea about it separated in the sense that the state will not make any laws saying that this is an official religion. So no, there's no religion can claim, that everyone has to follow this religion, and that on the other hand, also we're all free to practice whatever religion we want, but it doesn't say that the state can't, have any religious pronouncements or some sort like. I'm getting lost, but anyway, so separation wasn't like specifically saying, church and state are separated, just that the state will not say this or that should be the religion of the country. So anyway, that being said, it's we always talk about the separation of church and state, and when I heard there was a spiritual advisor in the White House, I thought, what's going on here? How do you have spiritual advisors? There's not supposed to be church and state combined. Then I thought about it. I says, well, look, if you're a president, can you go to church? The people will shoot you. You can't go anywhere in public if you're president. But they do go in public places. They do go to churches. They even go to restaurants. Trump was just heckled at a restaurant by some people doing Trump heckling things, and he wanted to have them arrested, prosecuted, sent to Gitmo, and assaulted for the threat, national security that these people were. But yeah, they go out there. So why do we have spiritual advisors? As the atheist that I am, yeah, no likey, no likey. So, at any rate, just speaking of the spiritual advisor, his in particular was a fellow named Robert Morris, who happens to be head of another one of those mega church places. There are a lot of mega churches, right? Churches with these huge attendances. I was at a church. I've got family that goes to church. Sometimes I go along. I kind of stopped doing that, but I've been to some beautiful. Look, the architecture in some of these churches is really something. They got the one in Spain that's been being built forever, like over 100 years or something. The Familia Sangria, something like that. It's not Sangria, but it's a beautiful church. I love architecture, and church architectures can really be inspiring. Beautiful. But at any rate, mega churches, right? This guy Robert Morris, he was just found guilty of sexually abusing a 12-year-old. I don't know what form of the sexual abuse was, but this is something that's becoming common. That all the Republican church people, all the Republicans, anti-gay, anti-sex, they're the ones. They get involved. They get accused. They get found out to be gay, sexist, trans following, doing things like. And I've got nothing against gays, trans, or whatever. But you're saying how horrible it is, and I'm going to do everything to fight against it, and then you do it. That's just too pathetic. Oh, so yeah, all right. That's one thing in itself. But what was his penalty? 6 months in jail. 6 months, and he's probably at one of those cushy places. He's probably with Ghislaine Maxwell, and that's what happens when you work with the when you got have friends in high places, right? 6 months. I think they should do away with cushy jail. Jail should be standardized. Jail is jail. Now I know that you got high security prisons. I don't get it. What high security prisons? Is that for people? They did it for the really dangerous criminals. They want them in a high security, but is a security a very dangerous? Well, what's dangerous? The guy who stabbed me with a knife. He's more dangerous than the drug cartel person. I guess the drug cartel leader. He can cause more damage with his whole gang, right? But at any rate, are they more capable of getting out of jail? Than the low level guy. I mean, look at Schindler's List. He wasn't any high level anything. He got out, and he really got over. I mean, screwed over the guy in the town, the sheriff or something like that. High security. I don't know. They should just all be standardized, and they should be. First of all, these guards abuse them. We need a whole lot of prison reform. Oh, that's all I'm going to say about that. And this guy, he got 6 months, and someone was commenting about, you don't hear the MAGA saying anything about that. Meanwhile, you go back to Obama's time when he had a spiritual advisor who was making a comment that was critical of one of the bad things about America. Believe it or not, there are some bad things, some things you can criticize about this, glorious city on the hill we call the United States. And he pointed out one of those criticisms. And MAGA went crazy. Of course, there was no MAGA. Then it was just the right wing, the Republican, the GOPs. They went crazy. But this guy here getting 6 months, not a peep. Crickets, chirp, chirp, chirp. All right. So peaceful Portland. Like I say, peaceful Portland. Not so peaceful now. Now that they sent in the military, we're starting to have confrontations with the military, tear gas being thrown, people being roughed up. Perfectly peaceful place. Let's just mess it up. All right. So ICE is taking people, and there's no mention of where the people are essentially disappeared. There's no contact, or they're not allowed any contact with anybody, and they disappeared. And you wonder, some of them are women. What happens? You don't see these women anymore. Have they just become trafficked? Are they in Saudi Arabia now? We'll never see them again. Christy Noam, she says she's sick of it. She's sick of what? What is she sick of? People protesting this ICE behavior. Yeah, she's sick of that. She's sick herself. You know, I always think of women as the fairer half. The men are the testosterone, lunatic, crazy people, the ones that start all the wars. The women are the nurturing, family caring people. But some of them are not. Some of them are just evil, biatches up and down. But generally speaking, I believe women are the kinder of our species. All right. So what happened? Um, the Israel and Iran conflict look like it's about to resurface. That's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Why do we say that? Well, for one thing, the United States is sending refueling planes to Qatar, refueling planes to the region, which is exactly what they did just before Israel launched its last assault, and America sent its planes to bomb the nuclear facilities. So this looks like it's going to happen again, and it's going to be a slightly different affair this time. Tehran learned that one of its greatest weaknesses is they have pathetic air defense. they don't have an air force, and they've got missiles, but their missiles are good for shooting at other towns, other countries. None of that air to air. Well, they've remedied a lot of that now with equipment that they've acquired from China. So, what will happen now if the planes start going over Iran? Should be a little bit different than it was before. Also, I'm imagining, and this is just me imagining, that if they launch an assault, if Iran launches an assault on Israel, it's not going to be as forgiving. And, I say as forgiving, they certainly weren't so forgiving, dropping bombs, launching their missiles into Tehran. But they pulled back. As soon as Israel said, oh, hold on, stop, wait a minute, Iran also stopped and waited a minute. And I think it's both sides who wanted to reassess what they could and couldn't do and try to remedy that. Israel in particular was running out of its defense missiles, that Iron Dome. They coming up short, so I guess they had to get a new supply. But other than that, even with the supplies they had, the Iranian missiles still got through. And now we got the things where Iran is really pissed at the United States because the United States was in the middle of negotiations with Iran when they dropped that attack, when they attacked them, and when Israel attacked, and so this is like, oh, wait a minute, we can't trust you. You guys are stab us in the back kind of people. There's no friendly amigo stuff going on here. So now there's the possibility that Iran will actually attack American facilities like the base in Qatar. And so, well, what's the United States going to? Oh, look, now you attacked us. Now we're really going to attack you. Now we're going to send all our aircraft and what have you in there. How this will escalate um, remains to be seen. So, just talking about the U.S. bombing things, I'm reading these different articles, and this person commented that just in 2016 alone, um, the United States bombed Iraq and Syria and Pakistan and Afghanistan and Libya and Yemen and Somalia. I got a family member who was arguing with me about the evil Russia and how better we are, and Russia involving Ukraine, and say, yeah, well, who did we ever invade, huh? Who did we ever? Good, name one, name one, name one. All right, so there you go. In 2016 alone, Iraq, Syria, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Libya, and Yemen. All right, now that's just them alone. And I could go back, I could say Vietnam, right? There was Korea, and then there were the overthrows of the Shah in Iran, and the Chilean person Allende, how they assassinated him, blah 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 blah. It's what I hate is I'm bad at those off the cuff, immediate zippy answers. I never have those. I have to come back later. Wait, I'll get back to you. Too late. I lost the argument. All right. Something with the economy. Walmart is cracking under these tariffs. They're going to start closing a lot of stores, and they're going to start raising prices. Thank you, Mr. Trump. All right. I was just watching something about what brought the country to the place we are now, with the administration sending troops into the cities, with administration promulgating hit lists of people on the left that they don't like, with crazy things. And this individual I was talking wanted to cite a young lady, Alina Wiltz, and that she faulted the Civil War, the end of the Civil War, for things to be set right, the opportunity to set things on a better path after the Civil War. And I was surprised because I thought the same thing myself. After the Civil War, we should have just crushed those people entirely. That's, to me, like they're the symbol of what's wrong with this country. The hate against black people, the hate against women and gays, and look, there's plenty of that up north. When Lincoln freed the slaves, he didn't free the slaves up north. Nope, he wasn't going to free the slaves in the South until it was really getting hard to maintain this war. People up north were getting tired of the war. Let's stop it. He said, well, I'll free the slaves, and then maybe they'll rise up or they'll help with the war. So, I mean, it's not like it was all wonderful. But this person did point out a lot of initiatives that were floating around. A lot of ideas that were out there, to make the place, more like the original Constitution or Declaration. All people are created, all men are created equal. Let's first of all let's scratch out men and let's put all people, right? And then that was an opportunity lost, and it was a great concept, and the way this person was elaborating it, I thought, oh, I got to read this woman's book. But she didn't have a book. She's just one of those writers, who comes out with ideas, makes a good essay. I would have loved for her to write a book about it. All right, what else? I was watching something about lead poisoning. All right, so we all know lead's not good for you, but it was really amazing how they were following these stories, and how it would show the people suffering under it, how such a correlation there is between the amount of lead that you get, and how much you will be acting out, how much you will be liable to be more criminally intended, how much you will be less successful, and just, it'll hurt you in life as a success, and it also will hurt you as a behavior person. You'll behave worse. So good thing we don't have that lead anymore. And of course there was a little something in there about the lead in the gasoline, and how long the gasoline companies tried to downplay the effects of the lead on the people. But that's corporations for you. And I shouldn't just say it's corporations, because corporations are people, and it's who the people are in the corporations that make them the way they are. And how those people are is from the society that they come from. And of course, you say the society. There are some things that I think you could say everybody's a part of the society. But on the other hand, if you're in the upper crusty society, you're not in the same society as the crumbs and scraps society. So, the society is not really something we have. Any rate, there we go. I was so smart this time. I said like, subscribe, and hit the notify bell at the beginning. And so there I am, just reminding you again. Maybe you wanted to wait till the end and see if you wanted to like and subscribe. I know you want to now, of course, right? Well, listen, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and you take care.